I sat at my parents' worn oak dining table in their modest suburban home just outside Madison, Wisconsin. The steam from honey-glazed chicken rising between us, while my younger sister Mia's laughter echoed off the faded floral wallpaper. She was mid-story about her latest getaway, a romantic weekend in Chicago with her boyfriend Tyler, complete with fancy dinners and a hotel suite that cost more than my monthly lab stipend. It was totally worth it, she said, her eyes sparkling as she waved her fork. An investment in memories. You know. My throat tightened. Just last week she'd called me in tears over a maxed-out credit card, and I'd quietly transferred what I could from our thin savings without telling Marcus. 10 years of this, me stepping in as the reliable older sister, the one who fixed things, while Mia floated through life as the family's shining star. The room felt smaller, the air heavier with her excitement bouncing around while Mom leaned forward, hanging on every detail, and Dad chuckled that warm, indulgent laugh he saved only for her. I cleared my throat, trying to insert myself. I've been developing something exciting too, an integrated orchard system using beneficial insects for natural pest control. It could change how small farms handle chemicals. Mom gave me that patient, slightly pitying smile she reserved for my bug phase. Still playing with those creepy crawlies. Elena? Maybe one day it'll lead somewhere practical. Dad reached for seconds.
Yeah. Keep at it, kiddo.
Useful someday. The familiar ache bloomed in my chest. Heavy like wet soil. I'd spent years documenting how predatory wasps and ladybugs could slash pesticide use in orchards, but to them it was just another one of my odd hobbies. Mia jumped back in with stories about Tyler's new truck, and I faded into the background again. But not this time. I needed something real from them. Speaking of projects, I said during a brief lull, Grandma's old apple orchard up in the valley would be perfect. She always told me it would come to me one day. She knew how much I loved exploring it as a kid. Watching the insects work. The temperature seemed to drop. Dad's fork froze midair. Mom's expression shifted to something sharper. More calculating. That lands in my name. Sweetheart, Dad said, his voice taking on an unfamiliar business edge. Grandma never updated the paperwork before she passed. Memories flooded in, Grandma's calloused hands guiding mine to a tiny parasitic wasp on a leaf. Nature protects what matters.
Elena.
The strong ones aren't cruel, they're clever. She'd promised me that orchard. I whispered the reminder, but Mom's laugh cut like shattered porcelain. Promises don't hold up in court. Honey. Documents do. The following week dragged like wading through floodwater. My best friend Jordan listened over coffee at our favorite cafe downtown. Her sharp accountant's mind already turning. Draft a purchase agreement for $1 to make it official, she suggested. They'll laugh. But paperwork is paperwork. They did laugh. Mom scoffed outright when I presented it at their kitchen table. Dad exchanged one of those silent, decades-married glances with her. Fine, he said eventually. 20,000. Family discount. 20,000. After bailing Mia out again. Marcus and I had exactly 14,000 in savings earmarked for greenhouse supplies. The number landed like a punch. I only have 14, I managed. Dad shrugged with casual indifference. Then it's not enough. I stepped onto their porch. November wind cutting through my sweater. Hands trembling as I called Jordan. They want 20. Her voice hardened with loyalty. He's stealing what your grandma intended for you. But no means he has legal claim. She paused. Keys clicking, she was already on her banking app. I'm wiring the rest. Consider it seed money. I'm your first investor. I believe in you. The next morning I handed over a cashier's check in their kitchen. Dad inspected it suspiciously. Mom hovered, surprise flickering into reluctant acknowledgement. He slid the deed across the scratch table. I signed with steadier hands than expected. Grandma's orchard, the place where she taught me every crawling thing had purpose, was finally mine. As I tucked the papers away, something inside shifted. The old craving for their approval quieted, replaced by a quiet, fierce resolve. The first 18 months on the orchard felt like penance for daring to want something this much. Marcus and I stood in what had been Grandma's neglected apple grove, our 14,000 evaporating faster than morning dew. Cracked irrigation lines snaked through waist-high weeds. The old barn tilted dangerously. "Water first," Marcus said, his botanist training kicking in. We found a used pump for $800, spent $300 more on parts, $600 on fencing. Within weeks we'd burned nearly $2,000 just making the place workable. 16-hour days became routine. My hands blistered from digging trenches. Marcus's back seized hauling pipes. We collapsed into bed each night, staring at the ceiling, questioning everything. The water table wasn't where surveys promised. We drilled 3 test wells, each failure costing $500 we couldn't spare. A February storm collapsed the fence. We rebuilt it ourselves in freezing rain because hiring help was impossible. By March our savings sat at $400. "This is crazy," Marcus said, knee-deep in mud after another pipe burst. His lab background hadn't prepared him for real-world chaos, broken equipment, erratic weather. We were bleeding money on a system that might never function. The soil was too depleted for the beneficial insects I planned to release. My water filtration designs existed only on paper. That night I stared at my phone 20 minutes before calling home.
Mom.
"It's Elena." Her voice brightened artificially. "How's your little bug project?" The diminutive stung, but I swallowed pride. "Actually, hoping for a short-term loan to bridge the startup." Silence stretched. When she spoke, her tone cooled. "A loan? We gave you a generous family price on that land. This orchard idea seems unrealistic. Time for something practical." The call ended with polite deflections. I sat on the porch watching sunset over half-dug ditches, feeling smaller than ever. 2 days later Mia posted on Instagram, designer boots in a field, arms wide. Living my best orchard girl life. Authentic. Blessed. Comments flooded in praising her cute farm aesthetic. Marcus found me shaking with rage. "She's mocking everything we're sacrificing for." We couldn't quit. We'd sunk everything in. The turning point arrived in May when Jordan visited. I nearly canceled, embarrassed by slow progress. Irrigation barely worked. Soil trials showed promise but nothing proven. "This is remarkable," she said, examining my charts. 60% pest drop without chemicals. Soil recovering fast. I'd been blind to wins, fixated on failures. "You're building revolution," Jordan said. "Needs capital." "I'm investing properly, 15,000 for 20% partnership." Money hit our account days later. We hired equipment, installed filtration, released beneficial insects at scale. 3 months on, Marcus, Jordan, and I stood in a thriving ecosystem. Test trees flourished under natural protection. At the property edge, hidden on a massive oak, hung a large gray paper wasp nest, European hornets actually, territorial predators that arrived naturally, drawn to the balanced habitat. "They're like free security," I explained. Voice respectful. "Patrolling. Defending without pay." Jordan stared fascinated. Marcus nodded. "The system you designed attracted exactly what it needed." Watching them work, purposeful and unyielding, resonated deeply. Nature fills protective niches. Patent approval arrived Tuesday morning. Thick envelope in hand. I read it 3 times before Marcus's joyful shout made it real. "We did it, Elena Vargas. Marcus Vargas. Jordan Ellis." Joint holders. Jordan squealed over the phone, dropping her usual composure. Lawyers ready for incorporation. Harper, no. Vargas Orchard Solutions exists. The orchard buzzed with life. Pollinators danced. The hornet nest expanded, now 3 feet across on the oak. Marcus laughed as we watched patrols. Nature's security team. The call from Green Harvest Innovations came Friday while I sampled soil. Marcus ran over breathless.
Dr.
Elena, we've tracked your publications and patent. Site visit next week. They arrived with engineers and a partnerships director, spending hours inspecting lines, habitats,
Data.
Hornet integration is genius, Dr. Martinez said. Watching Guardians patrol. Zero chemicals. Self-sustaining. 3 days later the offer. $2 million upfront plus royalties for nationwide licensing. Jordan whispered. We're millionaires. Local papers ran local entomologist turns bugs into gold. Trade journals followed. A state reporter interviewed us. Marcus grinning ear to ear during photos. Mom called that evening. Voice unusually animated. We saw the article. So proud. Honey. Our daughter. The scientist. Millionaire. The words felt hollow. Where was this when I begged for the orchard? Thanks, I said flatly. Family dinner Sunday? I'll make pot roast. Pot roast, Mia's favorite. I didn't correct her. Sunday felt staged. Good china out. Dad grilled me on markets and margins with sudden intensity. Mia hung on every detail of Green Harvest. Eyes calculating. $2 million plus royalties. That's serious money. After dinner, she cornered me in the kitchen. Tyler suddenly into sustainable stuff. Wants to learn about beneficial insects. Even bought magazines. Her laugh sounded forced. Warning bells rang. Driving home. Marcus noted Mom's pride, but I fixated on Mia's glittering eyes. Success breeds jealousy. Monday. Our new manager, Mrs. Ellis, no relation to Jordan, called. Water tests perfect. Insects thriving. Your grandmother would be proud. Nature protecting itself while feeding people. Her understanding soothed where family never had. Tuesday, Mom called casually. Mia wondered if you and Marcus could come Saturday. She's fascinated by your work now. I declined partnership papers to finalize. Her suggestion for a celebratory 5-star dinner afterward revealed the subtext. My success now had monetary value to them. I walked the orchard at twilight. The hornet nest gleamed silver gray. Guard circled. Grandma's words echoed. Nature protects smartly, not cruelly. I wondered if hornets distinguished family from threat, or if boundaries came instinctively. Marcus and I were 20 minutes away finalizing contracts at Jordan's office when Mrs. Ellis handled the Saturday shift. She didn't know our family history. When Mia arrived smiling brightly, claiming she wanted to show aspiring young farmers around, Mrs. Ellis welcomed her warmly. Your sister built something amazing. Happy to tour. Mia kept Mrs. Ellis engaged at the front, asking detailed questions about filtration and seasonal balances, while Tyler and 2 friends slipped toward the back. Let's trash this place, Tyler muttered, pulling chemical bottles, motor oil, harsh fertilizers from packs. One friend spotted the dense oak at the edge, unzipped, then grabbed a hatchet for fun. He swung into the trunk, unaware the massive hornet nest hung hidden on the opposite side. The impact vibrated through wood. Air erupted in fury. Screams split the quiet. Get them off. The friend bolted, arms flailing as hornets swarmed. Tyler and the other froze 2 seconds before realizing the threat expanded. Hornets read multiple invaders and attacked fully. Backpacks dropped, bottles rolling sealed. Men screamed, boots pounding. Hornets, whining in defense mode. Mrs. Ellis cut off mid-sentence at the front. Recognizing panic, she grabbed Mia's arm, shoved her into the tool shed, then dialed me and police. Your sister brought boys. They're being attacked by Hornets. I locked her in.
Police en route.
My blood chilled. The nest only attacked when directly threatened. This was an accident. Are you safe? Already grabbing keys.
Yes.
They're running toward the road now. The drive back blurred. Marcus gripped the door. Jordan called emergency services. Arriving, police cars and ambulance lit the entrance. Tyler, the friend with swollen hand, and the third sat bandaged. Welts everywhere. Mrs. Ellis met us grimly. They didn't succeed. Hatchet hit the hornet tree. That ended it. Officer Ramirez approached. Intent to damage property. Press charges. I looked at Mia on the ambulance bumper. Guilt and defiance mixing. 31 years I'd shielded her from consequences. No charges, but restraining order. Mia's eyes widened in realization. I walked away. Mrs. Ellis apologized unnecessarily. You couldn't have known. Marcus checked the back. Axe marks on trunk, but bottles unopened were dropped. Nest intact on far side. Hornets ignored us. We weren't threats. 3 days later, I held the signed restraining order. Mia must stay 500 feet away for 2 years. The judge called it crossing every line. Family disputes hurt, but you're choosing wisely. The green harvest ceremony proceeded flawlessly. Executives, hearing about the self-defending ecosystem, were more impressed. Nature's own security, revolutionary. They saw the Hornet incident as proof. 6 months later, life transformed. Research tents dotted rolling fields. Marcus and I consulted nationwide, helping farms cut pesticides dramatically. Jordan showed financials, officially millionaires. The words still felt surreal. This morning on the rebuilt porch, sunrise gilded the orchard. The hornet nest, rebuilt higher and stronger after the attack, swayed like a protective beacon 20 feet up. Nature adapts, I murmured to Marcus. Coffee tasting richer than any luxury meal. The phone rang inside. Marcus answered, returning with neutral expression. Mom's voice carried through speaker. Cloyingly sweet. So proud. Family dinner this weekend? I'll get lobster, your favorite. But lobster was Mia's favorite. Through the window, the nest swayed peacefully.
No, Mom. I'm Busse.
Silence. But we're family. I know. But I'm busy. Her tone sharpened with future pressure. You can try, I said, hanging up. Silence afterward filled with insect chirps. Leaf rustles. Distant equipment hum. Marcus sat beside me without pressing. I closed my eyes, feeling something new settle, not rejection's ache, not approval's hunger. Freedom. The Hornets had rebuilt stronger.
So had I.
Opening my eyes. Full sun illuminated a balanced ecosystem protecting itself through intelligence, not aggression. The woman who once sought family validation had created something untouchable by their indifference, entirely, beautifully hers. What does it truly mean to protect what you love, even when the threat wears a familiar face?